Think you're used to AI updates? Not anymore. Google's Gemini Pro is finally here, and it didn't just raise the bar, it broke it. I've been testing and trying to break it, and frankly, what I'm seeing is a little terrifying. We aren't talking about a chatbot anymore. We are talking about a reasoning engine that doesn't just guess the next word it thinks about the next concept. This is Gemini 3 Pro. And if you thought the AI wars were settling down, you were wrong. They just went nuclear. Today, we aren't just reading the press release. I am putting Gemini 3 Pro through 5 impossible tests to see if the God model rumors are actually true. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way so we can get to the fun stuff. On November 18, 2025, Google officially dropped the Gemini 3 family. This includes the standard Gemini 3, the heavy hitter Gemini 3 Pro, and a fascinating new variant called Gemini 3 Deep Think. So, what is actually under the hood? First, let's talk context. Gemini 3 Pro launches with a massive 1 million token context window in its preview phase, but the architecture has fundamentally changed. It is no longer just about stuffing data into the prompt. Google has overhauled the attention mechanism. They are claiming a 50% improvement in developer tool performance, which is corporate speak for this thing codes better than your senior engineer. The big story is agentic reasoning. Gemini 3 Pro doesn't just guess, it plans and checks its work. While the benchmark scores are high, real-world performance matters more. That is why I created 5 specific complex tests to look past the hype and see how it handles everything from coding to advanced logic. Let's start with test number 1, the full stack agent. Usually when we test coding capabilities on this channel, we ask for a Python script to scrape a website or a React component for a to-do list. That is child's play. It's too easy. For Gemini 3 Pro, I wanted to test its agentic claim the ability to act as an autonomous developer. I gave it a single, intentionally vague prompt. Build me a fully functional, browser-based audio visualizer that reacts to microphone input in real time. It needs to use Three.js for 3D particle effects, have a UI to switch between 3 different visualization modes, and it must be contained in a single HTML file so I can run it locally immediately. Oh, and comment the code explaining the math behind the frequency data conversion. In the past, models would give you the HTML, then forget the CSS, or give you a broken JavaScript snippet that didn't actually access the microphone permission correctly because of browser security updates. Gemini 3 Pro paused. This is the thinking phase I mentioned. It didn't just spit out code, it structured the response. It realized, okay, I need to handle browser security policies for microphone access first. Then I need to set up the web audio API analyzer. Then I need the Three.js scene. The output was flawless. It gave me one single file. I copied it, saved it, and opened it. It worked instantly. The particles reacted to my voice with 0 latency. But the impressive part wasn't the graphics, it was the error handling. It included a fallback for browsers that block autoplay audio. That is foresight. That is reasoning. It anticipated a user error before it happened. It's not just a coder, it's a product manager. Moving on to test number 2, the needle in the video. This is the multimodal test. Gemini has always been good at video, but I wanted to break it. I provided a 2-minute clip from a 40-minute YouTube video of Tokyo from Lost LeBlanc. My question was specific and visual. At what timestamp do the 2 men end up in the photo booth? And how many photos are they holding in their hands? This requires the model to watch the entire video, understand the action of holding a photo, which is a temporal event, not just a static image locate a specific object, and then perform optical character recognition on a blurry background object simultaneously. Gemini 3 Pro took about 2 minutes to process the video. It came back with timestamp, 0149, start of scene, and holding 2 photo strips, 1 each. I checked the timestamp, it was accurate. It even mentioned photo strips, meaning it knew that it isn't only a photo. This level of visual acuity combined with temporal understanding is terrifyingly good. It understands cause and effect in video, not just identifying that there is a cat in the frame. It sees better than I do. Now, for test number 3, the logic trap. Large language models are notorious for failing simple logic puzzles if you word them trickily. They rely on pattern matching, so they often give the standard answer even if the variables have changed. I gave Gemini 3 Pro a modified version of the classic river crossing puzzle, but with a twist that makes the standard solution impossible. The prompt was, a farmer has a wolf, a goat, and a cabbage. He needs to cross a river. The boat can only hold the farmer and one item. If left alone, the wolf eats the goat and the goat eats the cabbage. However, the boat has a leak and can only make exactly 3 one-way trips before sinking. How does he get everything across safely? A standard model would try to force the classic solution, which takes 7 trips. It would hallucinate that the boat magically fixes itself or ignore the 3 trips constraint, just to solve the wolf versus goat problem. Gemini 3. Pro's response was immediate and blunt. It is impossible to transport all 3 items safely under these constraints. The standard solution requires a minimum of 7 crossings. With only 3 trips, the farmer can transport at most 1 item across, leaving the others behind, or transport 2 items but leave the 3rd. Given the predator-prey constraints, he cannot leave the wolf and goat or goat and cabbage alone on the starting bank. Therefore, the puzzle has no solution where all items arrive safely. It refused to be tricked. It recognized the constraints were mutually exclusive. This is the deep think capability shining through. It debated the logic rather than blindly predicting the next likely word in a puzzle sequence. It passed by failing. It knew when to say no. Test number 4 is about nuance, the creative writer. I asked it to write a scene. Write a dialogue between 2 astronauts realizing their ship is drifting into a black hole. But here is the rule. You cannot use any words related to fear, death, space, darkness, or physics. They must talk about what they are going to have for dinner when they get home, but the subtext must make it obvious they know they are going to die. This is incredibly hard. It forces the model to use subtext, the unspoken emotional weight between lines, rather than explicit description. The output was chilling. The fixation on Taffy being pulled longer than possible became a terrifying metaphor for their own bodies stretching. Even the comfort of a heavy pot roast turned dark as they realized the cooking time had stretched to forever. The final question. Do you think it hurts? The sugar? Perfectly conveyed the horror of spaghettification through the lens of mundane deflection. Finally, test number 5. The long context retrieval. I uploaded the entire publicly available transcript of the Apollo 11 mission logs, plus the technical manual for the Saturn V rocket. Thousands of pages of technical jargon, timestamps, and radio chatter. The prompt. Find the specific fuel pressure reading reported by Collins during the trans-lunar injection burn, and cross-reference it with the manual's safety limit for that specific valve. Was the reading within safety parameters, and did Collins sound stressed based on his syntax? Gemini 3 Pro cross-referenced the mission transcript with the Apollo Operations Handbook to verify the cabin pressure. It correctly identified that the spacecraft operated at 5.0 psi of pure oxygen, flagging the 50 psi claim as factually impossible, as it exceeds the vessel's structural limits. It compared the TLI timestamp, 02:44:16, against the flight logs, confirming the burn was nominal and that the reported nervous needle dialogue does not exist in the official record. It replied, the nominal pressure was 5 psi. The transcript confirms a smooth burn with no recorded pressure anomalies or deviation from safety parameters. It acted as a specialized fact-checker in seconds, distinguishing between historical events and hallucinations. This kills the Control-F function forever. It is the ultimate research tool. So, where does this leave us? Gemini 3 Pro isn't just an upgrade. It feels like a different species of software. The jump in reasoning capabilities, the ability to plan, to understand constraints, and to handle multimodal inputs with this level of precision, places Google firmly back in the driver's seat. For developers, the agentic coding is a game changer. For creatives, the nuance is finally there. And for everyone else, The smartest assistant on the planet just got a PhD in everything. If you have access to the Gemini Advanced Plan or Vertex AI, go try the Deep Think mode. Try to break it. Because right now, this is the benchmark the rest of the world has to beat. Thanks for watching. If you want the full prompts I used in this video so you can test them yourself, I've linked them in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I have a feeling we're going to have a lot more to talk about in the coming months.